Hey Flosstube, it's Kim back again with another weekly cross-stitching update. This is video number 75 and today is the 29th of June 2020. You'll have to forgive my appearance. I am in cleaning mode today. We're cleaning the house. And by we, I mean me with my children's assistants. Telling them to help me with little things that they can manage. So, house cleaning mode. Got my free t-shirt from the Department of Defense summer reading program that my oldest daughter and I are participating in this summer. So let's talk about the stitching that I did this week. I worked on 4 different pieces. So Monday and Tuesday I worked on the Templar Prophecy by Long Dog Samplers. And again, I started down here in this corner. And I had the lions and this bottom border done to about here. And I added like 1,100 stitches in 2 days. And it was all in the knight and his horse. So I was figuring out where where I was going to be changing colors and which colors to use. Again, I have 3 different shades of blue to use for this. From unmarked floss bobbins from an elderly stitcher's stash. So right now you only see 2 different shades of blue. I'm not sure once I add the 3rd shade of blue if you'll be able to tell the difference unless they're like right next to each other between the 3rd shade and this darker shade here. So but that's what I have so far. This is 32 count Lugana in Silvery Moon. So it's a really, really pale blue fabric, like 762. And I have my floss box right here, so I'll show you again. I think it's Busilla. So you've seen me use these 2 colors, and I'm also going to use this 3rd one. But again, unless it's right next to each other, like here, obviously, you'll be able to tell the difference between here and here. But what I'm thinking about doing is in the night, I'm thinking about using that 3rd shade for his shield around the star in this shade. So we'll find out if you can actually tell the difference. And just for curiosity's sake, I have used up 1 bobbin, so about 1 skein's worth of the light blue. And I'm almost through a bobbin of the dark blue just with what I've done so far on the piece. So it's a constant shuffle to make sure that you have enough balance between light and dark colors but aren't going to run out of floss. And that's again why I started the bottom right corner, because I don't know if I'm going to put in this border or that border. It might just be the piece without borders. And I'm planning some other changes as well, especially when it comes to this section. I'm thinking about just stitching a line around it and not doing the reverse like they did here. So instead of the black work with the knight and the dragon, to actually stitch those areas. Stitch the light areas instead of the background. But it's going to be a long time until I get there, so I have a lot of time to think about it and stitch other parts until I get to that point. So that's what I'm thinking about for Long Dog Samplers. Again, this year I'm trying to work on it at least 1 day a month. 2 would be better. And that is along with Ann P. of Fiber, Floss, and Fiction podcast. She's working on her long dog, which is the Pilgrim. So that was Monday and Tuesday. I had a little bit, let's see, what day was that? Wednesday, I was looking at my plans for bingo for Full Coverage Fanatics. So I was looking at what squares I wanted to shoot for and what pieces for each square, and I'll talk about that later, to help me finish up national parks for the Full Coverage Fanatics National Parks Challenge, because I have, at that point on Wednesday, I had 10 parks in work. So I was looking to see how many stitches left were in each park, and whether it was 10 stitch or full cross, and that equated to how many squares on the bingo board. So I could try to fit those whips into the bingo board to try to get lines across, up, down, diagonal. On Star Wars, when I worked on this for the page last month for Page Finish Mania, I was only 800 stitches shy of getting the park done. So Wednesday, I just went ahead and I went to the next page down, and I just did 800 black stitches right down here. So because 800 was not enough, it's 810 stitches. So if I had used this for bingo, it would have meant 2,010 stitches, which I'm not going to do on a paper chart for bingo month. So I just did my 800 and called it a day. So there's the page, and then there's my 800. So this finished off Rocky Mountain National Park for the National Park Challenge. Not sure if I will work on this piece again this year. Changing up my goals a little bit, making things a little bit more realistic. I wanted to get another page. I don't think it's going to happen. So I'll probably focus on other whips that I'm more likely to get that the pages that I need. So after that, I picked up Card Sharp, which I told you I wanted to put more into. Again, I started this earlier this month, up here in the corner. I only worked on this 2 more days because it's been a heck of a week. And so I added just shy of 1,000 more stitches for a total of 2,610 stitches so far on the piece. And again, this is 28 count, easy count. So again, doesn't look like much, but that's the dark corner, you know, with the window. So until I get more in there, it isn't going to look like much. So 2,600 on that, and we'll see if I put it into bingo at all for July. And then the last piece I worked on a little bit every day up until or through yesterday. Macintosh Mill Dimensions Kit with art by Charles Wysocki. I was doing at least 150 full stitches or the equivalent every single day, and so what I did on this one, I finished the park yesterday. So I had been working on this tree with the dark green last week when you saw it. I continued that dark green in front of the tavern. And then I started on the apple orchard over here. And I had my chart, you know, using the needle minder on here. So for the rest of the week, after that first day, I just focused all the way over here on this side of the piece. So I put in, like, this tree was halfway done, where this line is. So I finished this tree, I did those 3, and then I just kept going in different colors all through here. So I now have 4,000 stitches into this for the month of June, which makes 12,000 stitches out of 20 for the 20 and 20 challenge in full coverage fanatics. And so the park that I finished on this one was Saguaro National Park. And I don't plan on working on this today and tomorrow because reasons. But I will definitely be working on it next month for bingo. So I now have 15 parks done out of 25, 8 parks in work, and 2 parks that I have not started yet. But as soon as I pick this one back up, that'll be one of the 2 parks that I haven't started yet. Again, to help me finish that piece off. So just to show you my update on my passport. So I get a sticker every park. So I now have 15 stickers. There's 8 more. And I have the whip and the dates that I worked on that park next to each one. So these are the 2 that I just earned this week. And again, if you like these stickers, every time I show them, I have the description in the description a link to the Etsy shop where I bought them. So that's my passport for my National Parks Challenge. So plans for today and tomorrow, I cannot promise I will stitch every day because I still have a streak going that I started last year where I stitched every day. So I will stitch every day, but I can't promise how much I'm going to get done. But I think I'm going to work on Witchy Tea Time, which is the only whip that I have not touched this year. And it's pretty easy. The color palette is limited. Let me go grab that real quick, so I'll pause you. Okay, Witchy Tea Time. I got this out of the Just Cross Stitch 2014 Halloween edition, but I believe you can buy it from Primitive Hair now. I'm not sure. It's been enough time. It should be published. So there's what Witchy Tea Time looks like. Primitive Hair. There are only, let's see, 1, 2, 3 colors in this one. Is that right? Apparently. There's, yep, 3 colors in this one. I am using 32 count Salem. It's Belfast, so it's linen, by Color and Cotton. And that's how far I got last year. So real easy. Doesn't take much thought to work on this one. And I haven't worked on it yet, so I need to work on it some more. This is the one where I am using one of my grandma's bobbins of unmarked for the orange instead of the called for Presentia floss. But then when I bought the floss for the Catalog of Witches Familiars by Ingleside Imaginarium, the Gassed Butter Crunch is pretty darn close. So if this isn't enough, I'm going to use Butter Crunch for that one. And then the green I'm using is DMC Variegated 4066, plus of course the black. So that's what I'm using for that one. So it'll be real easy to continue working on the top border. And then I'll probably just keep working on that just because if I jump down here to the first witch's hat, then it's a whole lot more counting and such. So I'll probably just keep working on the border and the Witchy Tea Time as the words. So we'll work on that today and tomorrow with however much time I have. And let's see. This following week, we're going to switch over from June to July. So as soon as 1 July hits, I will do my familiar for the Ingleside Imaginarium sale. I think it's going to be a goat because Brittany said it's one of her favorites, and the sneak peek that she gave in her group looks like it could be the goat. So that'll be cool. And then most of my plans for July will be about bingo and trying to get some of those national parks done because 8 parks in work, oh my goodness. So I printed out a black and white copy of our bingo board. I have here my parks that are in work and how many parks for each that I need to do, and some ideas for each of the squares, which whips would work for them. I'm gonna shoot for this one first, and then we'll go from there, because you can shoot for multiple lines and you do not have to redo a square. So let's say I get this line for a bingo, and then I want to go for this way. I do not have to redo the designer or design name beginning with a vowel. It's already done. So you can just keep going and do the other squares. So I have a potential so far of 4 lines marked, 2 vertical, 1 horizontal, and then this diagonal, where I'm not saying I'm going to get all this done. I'm saying with the parks that I need to finish and the number of squares or the number of stitches left in each, I could theoretically get 4 different lines on the bingo board if I don't run out of time. So, our family will be back together. My girls both have birthdays in July. And who knows? This is not like page finish mania where I can just go bananas on it. So, but I have the potential of getting 4 lines for bingo. So that's what I'm looking at for July. For the first line I'm going for, I have Trick or Treat for sweet treats and the holiday themed because it's Halloween. Designer or design name beginning with a vowel, that's going to be Oh Baby, which is the full. Dragons, that's going to be Friends Forever. And human or human-like figures is going to be Half-Blood Prince by Tilton Krause. So that'll be the ones I'm starting with to get that first line, and then we'll go from there. And I also have Trick or Treat for the diagonal. So while I have that out, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I might be jumping around a lot, or I might be either jumping between whips or jumping between the lines that I have to stay with one whip for a longer period of time. Who knows? We'll find out. That's why you guys watch these videos, to see what I worked on every day, right? So, that's all your stitching content. Now for some real life. Yesterday, I was doing story time at bedtime with my girls, and the tornado siren that we usually only hear on Wednesdays at noon when they test it, the tornado siren started going off at about 7:30 at night. Well, I stopped reading immediately because I know what that means. We were, it was in the middle of a thunderstorm, and I knew we were under a tornado watch, but the siren means take shelter. Get your butt into safety. So we stopped reading immediately, and the dog was with us, so I just, pushed the kids with the dog into the bathroom that's just across the hall, and went and got the cat carrier that we have for Hopper. We have a perch drilled into it, and that's what we usually take Hopper to and from the vet in this cat carrier. He absolutely hates it. And when I put the girls to bed, I turn off his lights, so that's when he goes to bed. So I had to wake him up and shove him in the cat carrier, so that wasn't fun. And, he hates it, so he was stressed out. But we all hung out in the bathroom for 45 minutes. Power flickered a few times, but not enough to have to reset the clocks. And I just kept checking my phone because the weather apps were not showing the tornado warning. But the base has their own weather chow, and they were saying a tornado was sighted within 5 nautical miles of the base. So that's why the siren went off, and they would make it keep going off every few minutes. We also have a Facebook group just for the base, and so people were talking on there, different things. And of course, you have some adults who don't seek shelter, and they actually go out and to see what's going on and take pictures. So I put some of those pictures up on my Instagram stories yesterday. And just keeping in touch that way, talking with family and friends while we chilled and hung out in the bathroom. So that was 45 minutes in the bathroom. And then put the bird back to bed, put the kids back to bed. And by that time, the storm had just about done. But we have chance of more storms tonight, and chance of more higher chance of storms, pretty good chance of storms, but also a slim chance of tornadoes as well. So that could make things interesting. Yeah, and more storms also possible tomorrow night. So we'll see what happens. In the meantime, I'm going to continue cleaning the house and getting ready. We'll see. Yeah. So I hope everybody has a good stitching week, and I'll see you next week. Fingers crossed for me, all right? Bye, guys.